Welcome back, everyone, to the final regular season weekend of the NACL here in Spring Split. I'm Mazel. I'm joined by Joshi. We already got through game number 1, and it was a shellacking. And Maryville were the ones delivering onto Fear. Now we'll see what happens for game number 2, because I think there is a real chance of comeback here. We came into this one thinking it was going to be a boxing match. That one was a little bit quiet. Now we'll see what the answer really is from Fear after that.
True. I mean, when you go into a boxing match, so much of it is about going all 5 rounds. And now Cincinnati Fear has an opportunity to try and swing back, but I'm a little bit worried because I feel as though the fact that they have the Rengar in their back pocket normally, it's gone. We're doing Fearless Draft. We do not have access to that again for the side of Cincinnati Fear, and even if they go on the blue side again, it doesn't mean that they have the same kind of ace up their sleeve in order to try and turn this series around. And everything else that we generally see from Cincinnati Fear is kind of standard, and Maryville have shown that they crush standard play.
That's exactly it, and I'm hoping somebody's kind of looking at the brass tacks of that game 1, saying, we got to pick up some vision game from Fear and figure out how to attack that in a way, because if you give complete control from Maryville, we see what happens. And with you bringing up kind of the Fearless bans here, I think there are a lot of options still on the table, but a lot of big things off, right? Like, you're not going to have the Smolder anymore. It was getting to a point where it's actually starting to get scary, but it's not scarier than Scary Jerry. And now Scary Jerry has a lot of options on the other side because he pulled out the Xayah, which is something that has been rising in priority, but not as popular to just kind of insta-pick like they did.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see that come through. I also want to give some context for this. Now, I said earlier that Fear could no longer get 4th. Now that they lost the game, they still technically can, but it's not a whole lot under their control. If they go 2-1, they can still potentially get 4th. But if they lose this, it does mean that they will be forced down towards the bottom side of the standings, where they will end up getting 5th or 6th. But as we look at the banned champions, again, Rengar gone, Orianna gone, Smolder gone. There's a lot of core linchpins coming through for Cincinnati Fear that they now no longer have access to, whereas Maryville, they kind of have the run of the litter. The only thing they're really going to be missing out on is this Nico.
I think another big factor here is Philip is very, I feel like, stable on the Aatrox, and that's just not going to be available for him here. And Niles is one that can try to start picking apart of the top lane matchup a little bit. So we'll see what the second game has in store in terms of picks and bans now that we're going to be getting into it here, because Maryville definitely on the forward foot. A team that is looking to go that 8-1, looking to continue dominating a league, where Fear just trying to maintain some positioning. Like you were saying, still we're trying to fight, not so much in their favor, not so much in their control. But as we get into game number 2, we already have those Fearless bans set. Fear on the blue side, Maryville on the red side. No changes of sides this time.
Yeah, I also want to apologize because apparently boxing is more than 5 rounds. I was apparently it with UFC, but I don't watch combat sports. Sorry, it's never been my thing, but it is what it is. Everybody understood the reference at the very least, even if it was wrong.
You've offended everybody.
It's all right. At least we use distraction card effects correctly. But going into this one, we do have the Talia ban coming through already. Cincinnati Fear, I think at this point, they really need to try and shut down the bottom lane because it's been too difficult for any team to shut down UG. You just kind of need to be able to out-hands Niles, Firex, Scary Jerry, and Zyko in the laning phase. And based on what we saw in game 1, before Chad even had a chance to interact with the lanes or UG went anywhere, they were already losing in every single role. And I feel as though that's a position where Maryville should kind of expect to have this time around. But if you can create an upset, particularly in the bottom lane, they have an opportunity to do so.
You're very particularly banning out that Talia again, just not wanting to give that option the flexibility, first of all, over to UG Spyrax, but also a lot of the setup out of mid lane. Continuing the ADC focus, as we have the Ashe and the Senna ban there. The Lucian is the ban on the other side. Smolder, again, still available for Maryville. It looks like the Callista is going to take priority over that for Fear, though.
Yeah. Now, I did have a fun fact. I don't know if it's still true, but this league is the only league in the world where Ashe is like unequivocally the highest presence champion in the league because we ban it so much. And we ban it 50% more than the next most banned champions, which is absolutely crazy. And then I was just going to say, Karma is like the one champion that just does not appear in our league, but Cincinnati Fear are looking to at least bump up her numbers a little bit.
Takes a little bit of syncing up, I feel like, with this pick. Yes, it can be strong by itself once you get the malignance and things like that, but it really is something to bolster the skirmish power of your jungler or whoever you're connecting with, right? And pretty good combo if Chad and Toasty can pull it off, a duo that we definitely want to see go again. We're having a little bit of fun here with Maryville dashing over the picks they can no longer have, as we do get the Orianna lock in, so taking a little bit of Fear's own medicine.
Yeah, especially with Azir no longer playable on this patch until the bugs are fixed. Orianna has kind of become the #1 mid laner that you have to prepare around. Cincinnati Fear going for the very classic combo. Karma Zinjao, very hard to take this character down, and they have some engage tools as well. Yeah. So Cincinnati Fear, they've built a very strong core at this point, and now it's going to be on Maryville to see how they want to play around it. We saw that Maryville last game was really focused on these mid-game team fights. Now with the Orianna, it's pushed back a little bit later, so we will look at whether or not Cincinnati Fear will be able to create enough pressure early on to prevent Spyrox's Orianna from being a major threat this game.
I still love that they're not shying away from giving Chad the resources and kind of playing around him, right? Because he has been the engine for the team. Steve Elio's lock-in. We've seen it sporadically rising up in priority, but immediately in the second phase of bans, that Xayah not going to be the answer here today for Lens.
And I do feel as though Maryville, they are already trying to see. One of the things that I love when teams are basically locked in where they're going to be in like playoff standings and they can't really move up or down based on their own games, is you just kind of see how much you can get away with. I feel as though this composition from Maryville is saying, look, we're going to be playing the scaling composition. You guys are the ones who need to make things happen, and if we can beat you in the early game with a composition that is not supposed to be winning early game, that'll be the major difference here. And Maryville are looking to shut down some of the strong things that Lens can actually play in order to really push that advantage in the bottom lane by themselves.
I wonder if we just get more bot lane focus banned here to try to take away. Yep, it's the Zeri, so 5 ADC bans from Maryville here in the second game. I feel like that's state of the world representing, as the Nocturne was banned away against them just to take away some of the flexibility of the Rel, but also that Nocturne and Orianna combo.
Yeah, I mean, it's very tough at this point. If you accept that Lens might be the strongest performer on this team, it makes a lot of sense to try and shut them down. Now, with a lot of freedom, Maryville still have an opportunity to try and decide where they want to send this Rel. It looks as though it is going to be going into the jungles. They're going to be hovering up this Melio, and it creates a lot of pressure, right? The one thing that you do have to be a little bit careful of is you don't want to pick another ranged damage dealer on the side of Maryville that doesn't have a lot of utility, because the Zinjao exists. And now with the Kindred coming through, suddenly all of your early game problems are solved.
I love that there was like some thought processes there. It's like, okay, on one hand, you go with the team-based composition. You get, the Rel, bring it into jungle, we gank constantly, we find let's give Yuji the sticks against Chad. Let's see what he's got. So the Kindred locked in, a very aggressive pick, one that we've seen Yuji dominate on, but also it's very telling of where you're going to be, so Chad can play around that a little bit more easily. We do get the Gragas locked in here too for Fear, so some spice coming from their end.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like as though this is going to be going towards the top lane. It is technically playable in the mid lane, but I don't know if Toasty's been playing long enough to be like a legacy Gragas player. At the same time, the one thing that I do really like about this Jinx hover that we're seeing is if you get that first reset and you have the tools to do so, you suddenly have the opportunity to go absolutely buck wild during these fights. And Maryville, they don't really have great ways to start the fight. The one thing that they have is this Rel, who relies pretty heavily on using Fog of War in order to find some of these engages. Now Maryville, I actually wonder what they want to play up and towards the top side of the map. It is the Gnar. Now, I don't really love this matchup as a Gnar. It's pretty hard to force Gragas out, and Gragas has a lot of control over when a lot of the trades happen. But Maryville, at this point, they have 4 range champions going into the Karma Zinjao. Most teams, I think, would struggle in this position, but Maryville is a team that we have seen, they get far enough ahead that it oftentimes doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that can be the case here if they play around Yuji's mark timings, and especially around Yuji himself. Last game, a big kicker was early invade with vision aplenty and being able to spot Chad consistently. Does that still work the same about this time around, Joshi?
The one question is going to be for Maryville is, where do they find priority? Nara can get priority up in the top lane in order to move with Yuji, which would help based on what we saw happen last game, but the bottom lane doesn't necessarily have the same kind of control over the wave as they normally do, so it will require Scary Jerry and Zyko to extend a little bit more if they want to try and help out Yuji with some of these early invades, and that can really help Maryville bridge their early game compositional issues into the later parts of the game where they are very strong.
And on the other side, I feel like you're just waiting to get to a team fight, man. That is a stalwart team composition there if you're getting into a 5-on-5, especially if it's front to back.
The front to back is definitely something that Cincinnati Fear are going to be really looking for. You have the front line, you have the damage behind it, but as always, it will depend a lot on how they are able to get there. And, you know, good sportsmanship coming out from Philip and Niles. They won't do any meaningful damage to each other at this point, but this potential collapse.
They do have it, and they've already marked Chad too, just in case. All right, it's going to get traded back decently heavily there.
Yep. That is pretty funny, apparently. Niles did ask in chat, am I safe in this position? And we know the answer is absolutely yes, but he just sits there and dances. Now, we do got to point out, both Chad and Toasty did throw down their wards at the beginning. So perhaps some cracks in the communication already coming through.
All I got to say is you fear...
no.
What? Oh, they knew they were there.
But two of them?
Yummy,
Niles gonna hit level 2 early at this point, and that could be a problem in this upcoming play. Now, I love seeing if Philip is going to actually pull the wave. He's currently sitting in the bush, and yeah, you see him moving around. He dips back into the bush, so his wave is going to be pushing back towards his own tower. And potentially, if he can prevent Niles from getting to the wave, they'll stop him from getting speed.
Thumbs up from Niles, but I'm going to need some thumbs up from Fear fans here. I don't know if our thing is broken or not, but we need Fear fans to step up here. 100% favor of Maryville right now.
I will go into Twitch chat real quick.
All right. But make sure you're spamming
there
in
we
chat
go.
who you got. There we go. Fear for
that was
Cincinnati
me.
Fear and MU for Maryville. That was me. There you go. Shout out to the Fear fans. Joshi included. We're getting the double lane focus here because I think something that was a little bit more contested last game was mid lane. Something that was not as much contested was bot lane. We are seeing a bit of a difference in presence here.
Yeah. And we are also seeing Chad going for a different route this time around, as he's going to be clearing his entire bottom side instead of skipping over his Krugs like he did last game. And Scary Jerry and Zyko not able to push up. They are not going to be overextending because they know that Yuji on the far side of the map is the one who is going to be a little bit late. And hey, Fear are doing the thing that Maryville does to most other teams. They are pushing aggressively such that Daption can move to help out Chad in this early invade. This is normally Maryville's playbook, but instead, Maryville is going to have to try and adapt and figure out if they can lock any of these fights down or if Yuji has to go find fights elsewhere on the map.
This is literally a mirror from what happened last game, where Yuji invaded and took away the blue buff from Chad. Able to get Chad in a lot more confident position and do some trading right back.
Yeah.
I will see. Continuing here, because the mark is coming up on the Scuttle Crab, and Chad wants to keep presence on Yuji.
Yeah. And Yuji will at least get the own Gromp, and now the question then becomes, where is the mark going to go? Chad has his pick of the litter, whichever
50-50.
one does spawn first.
Oh,
and
he gets it!
There you go. Chad will have that. He could have also gone towards the top one faster if he wanted to, but Chad is going to be winning out on this early game. Good stuff from the Fear bottom lane and Chad to link up and push Yuji out of his own jungle. This will help out quite a bit. Now, looking at the rest of the lanes, we're also not seeing the same kind of natural advantage coming out from every single lane like we saw in Game 1.
That was a big stability difference that was a lot rougher to play around for Fear last time around. A double scuttle does end up coming through. I like Yuji's stance here. He's going towards top side of the map right now. Daption was on a roam towards mid as bot was resetting. Philip taking a heavy trade on the Niles here. They try to go at. Maybe he's trying to bait him. Yuji will be seen out in the lane.
Yeah, as Niles goes through, they end up forcing a little bit of prow here, helping Niles, but Philip is going to be able to freeze this. He has use of the bush. He has a lot of sustain built into his kit, and he might even stop Niles' back.
Oh,
man.
Philip! Solo bolo on a Captain America!
A huge win coming out here from Philip. That solo kill means that the freeze is going to work. He gets the flash.
Zyko's here, but so is Daption. Low crash down going wide. Did a little bit of damage on Toasty, but just trying to save Spyrax's lane.
Yeah. At the same time, we are seeing Fear. They're winning a lot of the map. It is still a tough spot for Toasty, down about a wave and a half. The bottom lane is still even. But suddenly, the top side, Philip getting that kill and being able to hold on to a freeze means that Niles' position in this game is suddenly very tenuous. Without Flash, he's a very easy target for Philip and Chad to consistently try and gank and try and build a lead that way.
He looks like to be going with a more long-term build for the Gragas as well. UG, right back to game number 1. Feels like deja vu. On to the Telegrubbies episode 1 of game number 2 itself. Trap Boss coming through. Zyko gonna miss that crash down. Both teams backing away bot lane.
Overall, Maryville a little bit struggling in this game, but they're still going to be getting 3 of the grubs on the top side of the map. And Chad, instead of going to try and shut down Niles even further, is moving down towards the bottom side to continue the invade with the priority that his bot lane has built for him.
Snuck around the vision there too.
Yeah. They are the dragon here, and with the priority in the bottom lane, priority in the mid lane, this should be a relatively quick take. Now, Maryville's side of the map is still doing pretty well in the CS department overall, and if you look towards the top side, you see that the freeze has broken for Philip. It is going to be pushing back into Niles, and we have seen how aggressively he likes playing this lane, this style of game. And now Philip needs to be very careful. They haven't seen UG in a little bit, or they might have seen him on the blue buff, but it does mean that Philip needs to be very careful because Niles can start looking for solo kills now that they're level 6.
I love this though. We do see some of the vision toggle there. Shout out to observers, but also some pings coming out from Chad on the top side of UG's jungle. Maybe looking to go for something more aggressive there. Meanwhile, aggressiveness in the mid lane onto Toasty. Zyko trying to land another one. He does get Grand Entrance back onto by Daption. I think he might be in some trouble. The root actually comes down. Yeah, it should be okay. Chad didn't have the angle.
Chad was able to get in. It would have been very dangerous, but now Chad on the top side of the map is going to be taking away the red buff, but the fight not materializing in the mid lane. And now we see what Yuju's game sense is like. He is losing out on the red buff, but instead of trying to do anything there, he's going to be going towards the opposing side of the jungle because he knows Daption is getting pushed out at the same time. Good read from Yuji and Zyko to try and find something on the map still.
He did find his first mark, too, the bottom side scuttle, so there's a little bit of something going the way of Maryville, even if a lot of the map control has gone the way of Fear. You also saw Toasty, actually shockwave on him. He had a little bit of safety, but now that Chad's not around, has a little bit of sustain himself, getting traded pretty heavily by Spyrax. Oh, man, Yuji just got a boon as well. The Raptors just spawned, and he got a mark on him. Chad's on his way.
Yeah, he already cleans up the mark, A-okay, and we are still seeing that despite all of the small advantages that we saw pick up from Fear, it is still a couple hundred gold lead in favor of Maryville, and Chad now looking for Spyrax at the same time. They don't see him.
Playing with the vision so well. Spyrax immediately flashes. That's a good heads-up play.
Very respectful from Spyrax. We love to see just say, hey, yeah, I know I was playing this a bit too aggressively. We will apologize for that, and this is the punish coming through. So good job for Maryville to not give anything back there, but we take a look at the map again. The top lane has returned to the favor of Niles in terms of the CS, even though they're down a little bit because of the kill. And mid lane, Spyrax is doing a fantastic job controlling this here.
As has been tradition, we get the 2v2 started off on bot side now, too. Still a lot more quiet than last game. I think Fear will be pretty happy with that, at least. Yuji was backing. Okay, he did end up reinitiating back. I wonder if Philip actually takes the bait here. Oh! He steps forward. Cask comes through, though, and the denial of that gank. Now Zyko's in some trouble. He's just a slow rel, but he's going to sidestep the traps. It's scary. Jerry stepping up with the red-white. He can't get the fight, though, as the Mega Death Rocket goes a little bit wide there. They're re-engaged from Zyko. Stopped, though, by Daption, but it doesn't matter because he's got the Calibrum and he's got you in his sights. Q and the snipe. Scary Jerry gets it, and another game comes up heads for Maryville's bot lane.
That's crazy. The confidence to go for that re-engage from Zyko is what has really set this bot lane apart, as now Spyrax, A-okay.
Yeah, I mean, Chad just trying to get something back for the team there. Yuji taking a huge hit from Toasty. And whenever things go down bot lane for Maryville like that, it's looking real good.
Yeah. man, Zyko with that re-engage, absolutely huge. Giving them some of these real leads for the first time. About 1,000 gold ahead and denying some minions away from Lens at the same time. Now, the other side of the map, Chad not going to be picking up any of these grubs, meaning that with 3 already picked up for Yuji, there's an opportunity to grab all 6 as he moves towards the top half of the map, and he knows that Chad did not start them up because they have the ward covering the entrance to the grubs.
Hoping to potentially get a replay of that fight down there because that flash engage was just actually nutty. And that goes back to that conversation of Zyko just not needing to ask questions anymore, not questioning himself and being confident in the plays that he makes. And we're seeing it represented in this series to start off our final weekend here. A good sign for Maryville, but we do have Dragon coming up in 40 seconds. Maryville going to want to even up the odds in that favor.
Here we go. Niles, nice.
Gets the little stutter there, too, and flashes on the other side of the cask. He knew it was coming.
Now, I do want to say that interaction, we'll talk about that afterwards, but this bottom lane here, so this re-engage from Zyko, firstly, walking around the traps here from Zyko definitely saves his life, because if he gets rooted, he cannot dodge out from the Super Mega Death Rocket, which would have killed him. But we have a fight happening topside.
They look like to be kicking it off here. Lamb's Respite coming through to save a little bit of time for Maryville. Chad still wants to fight. Wind becomes lightning, and lightning strikes twice. Chad gets one. Lamb's looking for the snipe across the map. Here comes the rocket. And guess who's sitting under tower? I don't know if it's going to be enough. It just barely goes by. And now Yuji. Philip, he gets it. He just wanted the Chad play onto his former teammate there. But also, wait. Oh, my goodness. Yuji ended up going down.
This game, the fact that Fear are winning these small interactions but not necessarily coming out with a gold lead is ultimately going to be very strong for Maryville. It definitely feels as though they decided we are playing a later game scaling game. And Zyko?
Toasty has found a gank down bot side here. Zyko turning it back, and the TP coming in. Daption barely dodging out of that Moonlight Vigil, but Spyrax got that speed. And now Toasty and the rest of the team can turn around. Spyrax overzealous and over-wanting. He goes down.
I mean, Maryville, they're biting off a little bit more than they can chew. This could be some of that confidence coming back to bite them, as Cincinnati Fear's composition is just a better core overall. They have the tools to take basically any fight. They have more control over when the fights happen, and now they're still trying to pinch anything off that Cincinnati Fear goes a little bit too far with.
We talked from the draft that it was just a really stacked team composition if you get into 5-on-5s. Now Chad is going to try to catch Yuji out there. Yuji's going to take the bait in the end, and Chad goes for it. He's a level down, but he's got that skirmishing power. Flash comes out from Yuji.
Yeah, good flashes coming through from Maryville away from Chad, making sure that he can't get as much done, but still, the lead going through to Cincinnati Fear. Now, they do need to continue to put the gas on. They do need to continue to force the issue in this game, because Orianna and the Fearless will do a ton of damage. If you allow them to get to 2.5, 3 items, around 25 to 28 minute mark is when Maryville really starts taking control of this game. And Cincinnati Fear do not have as large of a lead as Maryville had in a similar position last time around. And so, I really want to see some action around these upcoming Dragons, trying to bait Maryville to go for these fights when Maryville is not ready to make them happen.
Big thing is we're resetting onto the map with some item differentials here. Primarily bot lane, the Storm Razor completed for Scary Jerry. The full item not there for Lens just yet. We do have Dragon on that side of the map too. That's why I bring it up. But junglers at least having first items completed. The Titanic Hydra for Chad, as well as the Kraken Slayer for Yuji. They've got some fighting power.
And the Malignants as well for Toasty. Cincinnati Fear should be way stronger as Spyrax.
Oh, Spyrax caught in the backing. And now they both flash forward. They know they need the kill.
Yeah, that's really big. Finding this kill onto Spyrax, who has made a couple of blunders so far today, ends up going down yet again in this most recent one. And that's going to be a Dragon going over to Cincinnati Fear. Maryville, even though they are still in a position where they should be favored overall in the series, it does look as though they are trying to get a little bit too much done with a composition that's not ready for it. But instead, they're going to go top lane, but there's no wave here for you to use for the dive.
Yeah, you really can't. The combos there. Toasty's got some damage. That Malignant's doing some work. Yuji couldn't hop over the wall there. All he's got to do is wait for that, and there we go. Toasty cleans the kill up. Niles was trying to 1v1 Philip over there, but now it's a 2v1 as his teammate is gone. Fears is still there, and Philip with the body bump gets the kill.
And this top side of Cincinnati Fear is taking total control. 5 deaths now between Niles and Yuji, and Spyrex makes all 7. It is the top side of Cincinnati Fear that is taking everything. And Maryville's bottom lane, they did have a really big play earlier in order to try and find the 1 kill that they did get. But Maryville, they are very rapidly losing control of the game, and this is where some more experienced teams, or perhaps some teams that didn't have as much confidence as Maryville, just say, hey, it's okay. We don't need to be winning right now. It's okay for us to win later. But Maryville, because they have been such a scrappy team this entire split, they're finding themselves in situations where they think they can't outplay, but their champions are not equipped for it.
Yeah, they're trying to play a game where a double-edged sword is a powerful weapon, but it also cuts you pretty deep. And I think some of that aggression definitely playing towards it. We've seen them play very confidently so far. Another big thing is we talked in the draft at least about UG on the Kindred, but it also gives a much more plain-to-see play style for Chad to play against, and I feel like that's been something Fear have really well handled this game number 2.
Yeah. I mean, it is one of the reasons why the Xin Zhao Karma is such a strong combination of champions, and why I was also saying, if Maryville continue to index into ranged champions into the Xin Zhao Karma, they might struggle in the series just because they can't walk up to Xin Zhao because then you can hit, and they can't walk away from Xin Zhao because then they're not hitting. So it really puts a bit of a checkmate on the composition strengths coming through for Cincinnati Fear, and they've been doing a pretty good job about leveraging it. Now, they've started to move. We are in the middle of the game. We know that because both bottom lanes have decided they want to be in the middle part of the map because they are now flexible as to where they want to move around. But Cincinnati Fear, they've already picked up the objectives that they need to. We have the Rip Herald in tow. They've got 2 dragons already, and now this is where the really good teams can start to make even more plays happen. When nothing is supposed to be happening, Cincinnati Fear now has the option to try and dive one side of the map or the other to take Maryville off guard. And so far, Maryville's vision control on the top side of the map is not going to be sufficient to prevent Niles from getting dove.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. So you're saying mid-game equals middle of the map? That makes way too much sense,
Weird.
Yoshi.
It turns out that it works that way. That's why we call the beginning of the game the bottom of the game.
Oh, yes, yes.
The bot lanes are bot.
Classic. Something I hear all the time, for sure. Meanwhile, speaking of, Zyko getting caught, and we've seen a lot of Maryville getting caught this game. That Mega Death Rocket comes through. The flash comes out, though. Philip has arrived with a TP, leaving Niles on top side, and Maryville without a top laner on bottom side. Spyre's going to try to buffer, but he can't do it, and here comes Dapchin with the triple combo there, but the rest of Fear able to take him out. Yuji with the Lamb's Respite. Chad's under tower, a double kill for Toasty, and Chad gets one of them too. He goes on a killing spree while Fear run the world.
Yeah, Cincinnati Fear absolutely turning around that play coming through from Maryville. They're still trying to make plays happen when their composition is not ready for it, and it's allowed Cincinnati Fear to go for a lot of these plays. Niles gets most of the turret, but not the whole thing, and that is a crucial difference as the bottom lane turret does fall. Cincinnati Fear ballooning this lead, 3,500 gold, and perfectly in time. They get so many flashes out of Maryville during this last play they will not have available for the upcoming dragon fight. And Psycho just going very aggressive this time around, trying to recreate what he was doing earlier in the game, does end up leaving them in a position where they can't do anything. I think Philip was waiting to throw out the ultimate until Spyrex did not have flash, but he didn't know that Spyrex didn't have flash anyway. Ends up catching more people, and Chad able to run everyone down after that. It's just a matter of delaying for Maryville, but now they don't have these buttons ready for the upcoming dragon fight, so it will be a fight that they cannot take.
Makes it so difficult to approach as well. And you just don't have the strength to skirmish right now for Maryville. We have another dragon coming up in 30 seconds. Would be a soul point for Fear as well. And we see them positioning a lot of vision around that side of the map.
It should be relatively easy for Fear to pick that one up, right? The one thing that Maryville does need to do, I was saying that Cincinnati Fear were going to be the ones trying to make plays happen, but no, it was Maryville. That is something that the good teams will try and do, but they're just not ready to go for it. And now as the Riffle crashes into the second turret, Maryville are going to be losing even more, and Dapchin is still looking for an engage, but also, Philip on the bottom side of the map is going to be starting to hit the second bottom lane turret, and Cincinnati Fear, with so much control over here, will be going for the dragon. Now, the one thing that they are potentially neglecting is this top lane turret. Philip, with no teleport, is going to be late trying to deal with it, so Niles should be getting even more money in his pocket, which will at least partially equalize him with where Philip is currently sitting.
At least get some way of the way there. Did get that dragon, so third dragon of an Infernal Soul for Fear, which would just set them up so beautifully. Bot lane focus is not going to be there yet for Maryville. And reset onto the map. There is Baron coming up. I feel like it's necessarily a big pull right now for Fear. I don't think they have the sustained damage just yet. Not that second item for Lens.
Yeah, when that's completed, that'll be a big go button coming out for Cincinnati Fear, but they have so much control over the rest of the map that it should be, again, it's kind of dealer's choice as to what it is that they try and do, and Chad coming around from Spyrax, who does have Flash.
Wonder. Okay, a little alcove gaming here. I think Spyrax could be worse for wear. Is Toasty gonna flash to get the root?
Oh.
Here comes Maryville. They're making a play on Toasty.
Everyone's
who already
coming.
burned his flash forward. They do have a lot of sustain though, and that's so difficult to play into. Look at the Lamplighter Spy. Doesn't even save Spyrax. And now they're just like fish in a barrel. They get bursted out of the cast there. Shutdown goes through. Chad has fallen, but here comes Lens. And once he gets reset, that means it's all over for Maryville. He's looking for them. Can't get the traps there. Now Lens getting some extra shots on Scary Jerry. Scary Jerry standing tall, though.
Scary Jerry is going to be alright. Maryville end up trading 1-for-1, and they get a shutdown, which does give them a little bit more gold than their opponents were able to pick up, but not able to pick up the bottom lane structure. We are still seeing that people are starting to ping towards the top side. Toasty will be moving up there. Philip is still hanging out. Just, you know, a little bit worried about anybody in that rush, but nobody will be there. And so Cincinnati Fear, they end up coming out a little bit worse for wear in terms of the gold, but they actually come out in a pretty good spot in terms of tempo. They will have their core of composition moving towards the mid lane, where they can easily shift to react to whatever it is that Maryville wants to do.
And that's been a key component of this series so far, is just kind of body blocking a lot of what the enemy team wants to do. That's what you expect from two teams that think pretty highly in the game, and especially about strategies here. Now, we are just about at those second item spikes. For Yuji particularly, he has gotten the Collector. I don't know if that makes the biggest difference here, but provides a little bit more damage for the double marksman composition of Maryville moving forward.
Yeah, it's nice to have. You do got to get that gold, but we do see an objective bounty also going over to Niles on the far side of the map. So you just need to get some things done, but Yuji still only sitting at 2 stacks. Has not been able to move towards the other side of the map. And, uh-oh, Niles.
Gonna have to find a way to hop, skip, and a jump out of a very sticky situation here. To give it over to Lens, too, would be really big. He's got the Meganar, but not in time, and Philip's the one that gets it.
Yeah, really like that play from Philip. One of the things I always look for is don't use your mobility before you need to, and Philip just walking up until the E is guaranteed. Niles cannot use his hop to get out of it. Guarantees that you get the crowd control into the traps, making sure Niles has no play whatsoever. But he did get the bottom lane turret, did get a bounty there for his team. And as we start looking with 2 minutes left before the next dragon, having that little bit more room to play with might help out the way that Maryville likes to play the game.
And it's also very curious to me, the massive difference between Game 1 and Game 2. Just because of some of the gameplay and some of the stability of the comp that Fear have chosen, it makes such a big difference. And Philip, first of all, glad he can show up against some of his good friends in UG and Spyrax, but also his former teammates. But I think really Chad has had a much different game with him and Toasty combining a lot more often.
Yeah, that has been a big difference, right? Chad was mostly playing Game 1 by himself, and Maryville was picking on him, whereas this time around, Maryville have not been able to really pick on anybody. They've gotten a couple of kills here and there, but now, Cincinnati Fear, okay, they were angling towards the Baron. I was like, there's no way you're going to be going for that right now. You want to make sure that you clean up this Infernal Soul. The big thing coming out from Maryville at this point is they're 2 items through. Remember, we said like 25 to 28 minutes is generally when Maryville kind of comes online. Spyrax is a little bit behind, but Scary Jerry is well on pace to be a major threat here in the next couple of minutes. Fear want to make sure they take the fights before Scary Jerry and Spyrax get to their 3rd items.
Yeah, and I think we put some focus on Maryville there with some of the strengths they're coming into, but I still feel like we're got some semblance of an Exodia comp when you get into a 5-on-5 for Fear. If Chad gets caught out by himself, though, you don't have that Exodia anymore. As now the Crescent Guard utilized Cask also. A couple big ultis, but here comes Daption. He sees the angle. He wants all the charms. Here comes the Mega Death Rocket too. And now Lens is firing away. Oh, he's excited. But there's nobody for him to get excited onto. As Daption doesn't have any health, they can't get a re-engage there. And Maryville standing tall.
Yeah, Spyrax again throwing out the ultimate to potentially bring Chad back, but still had access to Crescent Guard. And oh no, not another one.
Niles, he's trying to use this Baron Pit, though, to his advantage with the Meganar. Philip doesn't have anything left now. He does have his team there. Flash is utilized as they are now forcing onto the Kragus. The Dragon is being taken by Lens. This is Infernal Soul that Maryville can't do anything about.
Maryville end up giving over so much in that last spot, overreaching a little bit, and Fear doing a fantastic job shutting them down. The way that the Zinjo and Karma have consistently played together has been a lot, but Maryville, this game is looking more and more desperate, so they're going to have to start hopping over walls like that blind more and more often. Now, Wildcard would go for this Baron here, and it looks as though Maryville might be of the same mind.
Try to just burn it down, I guess. They have the red gun coming down very quickly as well. They do have red-white for just a second for Scary Jerry. TP's coming in now. That will be Philip. He has his Cask available, and oh my god, Toasty just chunks half the health bars of Maryville, and the Baron does the other half. My goodness. Maryville try to force the hand of Fear. They do pull out some of the resources.
Yeah, this is where the confidence and the aggression of Maryville has come back to bite them as Niles.
Maryville. Niles is just fully engaged on, but the combo's there. They get one back as well, but that Infernal Soul is doing some serious work, and Zyko just getting gunned down by Lens. On the other side, though, Spyrax and Scary Jerry are trying to put up some fight. Yuji's trying to run his way out of that one. Scary Jerry gets connected on, and he's just a poor ADC as Chad takes the kill on a killing spree.
Cincinnati Fear looking to give Maryville yet another game lost from this position. They only have 4 so far on the season. This is looking to be their 5th, as Cincinnati Fear systematically shutting down everything that Maryville has tried to go for. And the composition has helped out so much coming through from Cincinnati Fear. They have the tools where they just shut down all of these ranged champions on the other side. Maryville trying to go for aggressive plays, shutting them down in the bottom lane, shutting them down in the mid lane, shutting them down around the Baron. Now with a 6,000 gold lead, Cincinnati Fear can basically do no wrong for the next several minutes. It pushes back Spyrax and Scary Jerry's ability to take over the game even further.
And I just think it's so funny. We get to a point where, you know, game 1, Chad was like, all right, I'm feeling confident on my jungle pick. I'm going to take the Rengar. Game 2, we saw some hovers of some very stable junglers. Yuji goes for the Kindred. Doesn't work out for him. Is this a point where both junglers are trying some spice, but it really is just the meta that's shining through?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is Kindred really needs priority in the lanes. You don't really get that into the Karma as Orianna. You don't get that into the Gragas as Gnar ever. And the bottom lane would have to really push very aggressively if they want to try and make that happen. So you're playing Kindred in a situation where your composition does not support it. And now Maryville, they're doing what they can to try and hold onto their own base, get some money in their pockets, and try and flip an Elder Dragon in a couple of minutes. That's really their only game plan.
Right now they are losing their base, though, as another little while on this Baron buff that's available. Niles trying to go forward with the Meganar ulti. Can't really get an angle there. Just gets engaged on anyways. Just goes for Chad, I guess, but he's getting his health bar chunked from him, and the Rocket's going to take down the beast.
And you saw that nobody on Maryville could do anything because he had the Crescent Guard up. Now they're looking to end the game.
Chad able to move forward there in the end, but I love it because Philip was looking for a Cask, ends up using it on Spyrax. His old teammate there giving a little bit of love, and the emote spam too, but the base is crumbling around Maryville, and there isn't much left they can do. Zyko goes for a desperate engage. The Shockwave, that's the combo you needed, but it comes too little and way too late as Fear sustain themselves through that big engage. And now we're looking to put the final touches on the last remaining structures in the base of Maryville.
If that wasn't able to do it, nothing will. This should be the end.
Scary Jerry's gone. Chad trades his life for it, but TP coming back in, and that's a full health Toasty. The Nexus is bare. You got to put some clothes on it or it's going down because Fear have come to town to even it up against Maryville University. We're going to game 3.
Honestly, I'm so shocked that we are in this position. Maryville coming through, their composition didn't work. They tried to force it to work anyway, and Cincinnati Fear aren't a team that you can just give a composition where they can shut down everything that Maryville does and still look for this win. Really good stuff coming through from Cincinnati Fear. Now they need to do it one more time if they want to try and make it towards the top half of the standings.
Finally get that fisticuffs I was looking for in this series. I'm excited for it. We're going to step away for a little break. We'll be back for Game 3.
Introducing the new footlong sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious footlong cookie, footlong pretzel, or footlong churro.
Welcome one and all to Gamer Changer. Our contestants will be answering 4 statistical questions about the league with 2 additional fun questions added on. All of our wonderful contestants will be competing for their chance to make the NACL casters produce any content that they would like. Let's get to it, shall we? Question 1. Who has the most kills in the league?
So it's either Wixie on Smolder at 15, or he's tied with mid laner at 15 as well. That was playing Azir.
You're so reasonable.
It's gotta be like quad, bro.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking as well. I remember there was a Surdy game where at least at some point he was 10-0-3.
Oh, we should have checked the stat saves before this.
Spyrex Azir.
That is a bias. I play with Wixie too. We're double biased.
No, I don't even know this Spyrex guy.
Like, I actually think it would be like a lower team. The higher teams don't even give kills. Like, I watched Sidon take like 5 kills on Poppy.
All
Sturdy,
right.
man.
It's gonna be Sturdy then.
Oh, I knew it, I knew
it. Oh my
I
god.
think it's Rock Boom. Is it right?
Let's just do Wixie Smolder at 15. I knew it was, I told you it was Azir mid. I told you. Why'd you say Spyrax? Why'd you say Spyrax?
Who has the top KDA in the league?
It's gotta be a Maryville or FlyQuest player.
I played with Yuji and he's the biggest KDA player of all time. You know this, Max.
Yuji or Scary Jerry?
Junglers have to die for the boys all the time. It can't be a jungler.
I feel like it's Scary Jerry. He's been popping off this season.
I haven't watched
Yes, sir.
many Maryville games at all.
Wait, think about 5. I mean, I would say Quad, but then Quad had an int game on Azir.
Oh, I want to say Array. He's 80 carry on a top 3 team.
I mean, yeah.
Are we locking Array?
Bro,
I told you it was 80 carry. Or
that
top
doesn't
3.
matter.
Ah!
You got this one. Okay, Jerry. Okay.
Let's go with Raga's answer here.
All right.
Scary Jerry?
Scary.
Yo, I got it.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm the Brains Dragoon. I thought you were.
yeah.
Who has the most solo kills in an ACL?
Quacker.
No, last split it was Quacker. It's either 30 or quad.
But I mean,
Yelling-
Quacker is still solo killing though. Like low key.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
He is.
I don't think it's like waters, but it has to be a top lane. Oh, it has to be a top.
I would say Surdy, but the thing is, there's that like one Rumble game it's against like Philip Scion. He like started off the game with like 8 deaths.
That could be genius.
I think it's 30 or quad. That's my answer. What's your answer?
Going Quacker still. Like low
Okay,
key.
we choose Quacker.
Oh my god.
I think Surdy's good. I think it has to be. It's Surdy. Wait, when
Oh,
did he solo kill against us? Like, did he even solo kill against us?
Do you just go with Surdy?
Oh, he was just farming his solos.
What was the longest game of the split?
We had the longest game though.
Was it
I-
versus Fly?
I think it was versus TL. No.
Wasn't it ours?
Oh, the
Did
fear
we get
game?
to a game with 3 elders?
I think it was 2 elders.
Wait. There was a Fear versus TL game that like went crazy. Wait, no. Wait. Fear versus Lit.
Yeah.
Like Aphelios. I remember Aphelios Lulu.
I think we have it. I think Fear has the longest game. It was more than 45. Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. No, yeah, I know we had
mean-
it. Dude, you know why I know we had it? It's our head coach. We lost, everyone's depressed, and then in the bottom of our Discord, Cal just posted a screenshot of, at least we have the longest game in the season, guys. I'm like, bro, why are you posting this? We lost. Why are you? This is not a flex.
I mean, yeah, that game was. Okay, all right. Fear versus Lit. Bro,
You want to just slam our game?
I think it was our game.
Yeah.
That's a tough question. though.
Oh,
That's a tough
yeah.
Act out your favorite champion. Your duo must guess who it is.
No. We have to like do charades.
No, this is easy, Philip. I already have my answer. You'll guess it instantly.
Oh, I have a good one. I'll go first.
Can I use like props already?
It's Lucian.
Like, he already knew before.
You're gonna guess it instantly. If you don't, you're banned. You're just
Okay.
banned.
Okay. Graves?
Ding, ding, ding.
Is that Thresh, bro?
Yes, it is. I got the hook. Oh wait, and then I played.
Okay. Wait, this one's so easy.
Philip, I know what you should do, Philip.
Alright, I got it.
Player.
Yeah.
Father. Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready, Max?
Wukong R. Boom.
Yeah.
Wukong R. Boom.
Oh wait, come on. That we are the best at that. Oh.
Ganked by mom with, what is it called? Hot cocoa? Is that Malphite?
No, man.
We set.
Yes, yes.
Why'd you clap like that? When you like punch, I'm like, oh, he's doing set, and then you just clap. I'm like, huh?
Let's calculate points, shall we? We have Lit with 2 points, Fear with 3 points, and Wildcard with 3 points. Wait, we have a tie? And we have our winners! Congratulations to Cincinnati Fears, Chad and Philip for winning, and thanks for tuning in to Gamer Changer.